morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are in the universe, it is Real Talk with Kathy. I am doing this portrait. I'm not doing it landscape because every time I go to look at the landscape, I look at the green dot, but it makes me look like I'm looking off in the distance. I don't know where to look. With TikTok, it was a lot easier. You just did this, boom, upload, boom, and you're done. But here it's entirely different. So I was on vacation. I went to see my boyfriend in another state. We have a long distance relationship and it is difficult. This is a man I've reconnected with. We both thought that there was a power struggle, which is why we didn't reconnect. So can you reconnect with an ex? I believe you can. To a certain extent. I mean, there are certain exes you just don't want to reconnect with. Your abuser, a narcissist, and you need to figure out, obviously, if there's physical, mental, and verbal abuse in it, you don't want to go into the relationship. Now, it's scary, because there are times where you think that things are going down the same road and you tend to get scared. And you try to figure out whether or not they're going back to their old ways. And you have to take it in stride. Talk to them. If enough time has passed where you guys can actually talk about the issues at hand that you couldn't talk about before, and you both, because in a relationship, it's two people, it's not just one, and you have to be strong enough to understand that when you have a lot of different things on your plate, you have a lot of different things that you were doing during this time that for a breakup, you throw yourself into things because you're available. And doing that is great, but then you get a momentum of things and it's like, okay, which way do you go? I personally wanted to see how the relationship, I wanted to follow through with it. And as you can clearly see, I'm in my morning jammies. And in my morning jammies is how I like to be, or comfortable, because at least this is the real me. As everyone on here, as you get to know, I was in a 6-year relationship with a narcissistic sociopath. It was not easy. He started off with verbal. It was the just kiddings. And then it was triangulation, and it was a lot of... triangulation, ghosting, all of it. And it's not a fun feeling. It is not the easiest to get over. Chances are you never will. It graduated into physical, mental. It was steps. He started out with the, your hair's kind of frizzy. Makes you look like a redheaded stepchild. I'm just kidding. And there's never a compliment. And if there was a compliment, it was kind of like, let me think. Oh, you cooked steak? Oh, okay. Well, it was great. But you did an amazing job. But so-and-so did better. There is never just a compliment. There's never just anything. It's always followed with but. So when you get a compliment, if it's followed with a but, chances are it's not going to end a compliment. It's going to end, you confused. Didn't you just tell me this, but you said that, all in one sentence? Because why would they want to give you a compliment? Then it gradually goes to, you didn't see that. No, that's not how it happened. No. When you're out and they can't even give you the slightest bit of attention, their eyes are wandering eyes. Now, you can have wandering eyes, you can look and stuff, but when you start oogling, there's a difference between wandering eyes and oogling. Everybody looks, everybody, hey, what's going on? Everybody. But it is a scientific proof. It has been proven. And when you're happy and content in a relationship, when you're looking, you're not seeing people and checking them out. You're not oogling, okay? And it goes from people watching to oogling. And you can clearly see it if you're the other person in the relationship. And that starts getting into your head. And then they start talking to their friends, their supporters, these are people that don't really know any, they're just as innocent as you are, but they're being fed different information. And when they're fed that information, they only go by what they're told. So when you being the empath or you being the victim in that relationship, and not all, well, okay, yeah, empath, I guess. When you're in that relationship, you tend to start wondering, was that what I thought it was? You start telling the entire truth because you're so used to being called a liar. You now start proving things because this is how it is. And then you start feeling anxiety. Like, what could you have done differently? How can I get his attention or her attention back on me? And it doesn't work that way. It really is a difficult process. So then you sit there and you start questioning your own mentality. You start questioning your own self-worth. You start questioning your own self-esteem. And that's where you start feeling you're not good enough. And now you start striving to make things better. How can I do this for him or her? How can I make them happy? And you start losing sight on what makes you happy, what you're content with, what you will allow. Because at some point, you had boundaries of things that you wouldn't allow people to cross. And then they start crossing them, or they start erasing the boundary, and then they start making their own. And that is not how a relationship goes. A friend of mine actually said it perfectly. It's all the things that you need in a relationship. Values is the number one. Communication, honesty, trust, you need all that. You need all that in a relationship. That's your foundation. But the security, the metal in the foundation, what helps the concrete stay stable, the concrete of trust, communication, and honesty, is the poles, the metal, the steel. And that, my friends, are the values. If you don't have the same values, then there is, I guess you can still have a relationship. Some people do. Some people still have a relationship where your values are differ from each other's, and that's fine. But that meant somebody had to give up something from their boundary. And if it's not like when, I don't know, thirst traps. There are people who dress provocatively to gain the attention of other people, and for numbers, for support, whatever, for attention. To me, they're nothing more than strippers saving money, or strippers doing what they do for free on social media to gain the attention from followers and supporters. And these followers and supporters are just people that can stay home and save the money, save the money to come get into the strip club, and save the money for putting it out on the table to get people to be scantily clad. Can I be in a relationship with somebody who supports that? Honestly, I'm trying. I'm trying. It's difficult, especially being somebody who has been cheated on multiple times. And not just from the narcissistic sociopath, from somebody who, from a husband, my first husband, my first major relationship, the night before our son's first birthday, he had relations with my sister. Yeah, one of my sisters. That was fun. I caught him in provocative situations. One of our friends was straddled over him, giving him a hug goodbye. When I say straddled, her knees were on either side of him. There was, let's see, what other things? There was his ex-fiance, a new chick that he had been with. He walked right by the house with one girl that he was, and I was home with our child. So yes, I've been cheated on pretty severely. My second husband, things were great. We ended up getting married, and on our anniversary, I was scantily clad, dressed in an apron, and he went to a strip club to see something on them that he would never see on me. So yeah, for me, it is difficult to comprehend and wrap my head around about it. But your values are something that are very important and need to be respected. If they can't be respected, then maybe the relationship isn't the correct one. So there's that. And hopefully, well, my cat. You got to have the values. You got to have similar values. Cheating is definitely off the table. Any of that. You want to have the same outlook in life. You don't always want to be the one cheering up both of you. So yeah, religious values, it doesn't matter what the values are, as long as you have similar values. You want to make sure that that's important, because the foundation and the steel of a relationship is what is going to build that house that you and your significant other are going to be in. and you want it to be as stable as possible. You don't want any hurricanes or tornadoes or tsunamis or cyclones. You don't want any of that stuff coming in and destroying the very foundation and the very steel that you made. That relationship is supposed to be strong and long-lasting. It's not supposed to be fragile and broken. You want to make sure that it is everything that you guys want and more. So with that, I hope everybody has a blessed day, and I hope everybody keeps smiling.